Right, everyone, Davis here, and as always, we are back to drawing, and today, as always, we are going to draw races for my game. Basically, how the process is going to look today is that I'm going to pick up all of it, right, one after another. Yeah. But first, before I'll explain exactly what I'm going for, let's, I need to shave myself. I need to trim my beard. Okay. Let me just send the notifications. And yes, I kind of prepared, say, like knowingly that there's going to be several parts. Because it's actually not that easy thing to do, to be fair. It is, as a matter of fact, not an easy thing to do. The game itself has... So for now, I'm just going to do like 6 main races, right? 6, right? 6 main races, but the problem is going to be with the fact that despite that, there's going to be much more races, and just for that, I think I'm supposed to make like at least for each race, I'm supposed to make at least 6 different variants. But of course, humans are humans, so I can skip like making things. Although, I think I'm going to redo them because I don't like how they turn out. So, yeah. Yep, that's that. So yeah. And I'll be real, what I really want to like go for and achieve is actually quite the like normal thing, like quite the usual. So but actually I want to go a bit further and beyond with some of the races. So for example, we are going to have elves, which I actually want to make partially human. So we're going to have humans, right? But elves are going to be elves, right? So like long, like really tall creatures with pointy ears, but they're going to be partially animal because they are living mostly in forests, right? Well, I think there's going to be a split, to be fair. So we are going to have high elves, which are going to be like purebreds, right? Which are going to be like just normal elves. We are going to have forest elves, which are going to be those like half elf, half animal hybrids. And we're going to have dark elves, which are going to be elves who are going to be kind of similar to forest elves, but those are going to live in caverns. So they are going to be more monstrous. But we are going to focus on making forest elves because forest elves are going to be the more pleasant, like those good ones, right? So that's going to be the thing. And yes, we are going to redo the humans. There is a reason for that. I don't like how this 3D model turned out, and I really want to redo it. And because of that, I'm going to make male and female human all over again, where I'm going to just redraw them. Because again, we're designing races, right? So I don't have to make turnarounds for them. It's also not a 3D game, so turnarounds don't really matter. Actually, this game is flat image based. So we don't need even any animations, right? At least for now. I think even if we are going to have animations, they're not going to turn around, and we are going to animate the pixel art. So that's the thing. So that's how I want to progress with it, right? That's how I want to go with that. and I do feel that it's good, that it is going to actually be the perfectly working solution. So let's draw male first, maybe, because like last time, right? So humans, of course, are humans. There's nothing much that we can do. They're like base point, because off of them we are going to turn them into silhouettes, and then we are going to take those silhouettes and turn them into like some other races, right? Like we are going to take the silhouette, we are going to shorten it, like we're going to flatten it fully, and that's going to give us dwarfs, like base of the dwarfs, right? Of course, I still want to change this. I think dwarfs would be cool if we would give them like rocky shell, kind of like what turtles have, but like made out of rocks and stones, basically. And for example, they are going to feed on metals and stones, and basically what they consume, that's turning their shells differently. So they can like harden the shell and eat bunch of like diamonds, like obsidian, and basically like their shell is going to turn into like composite of various different things. And of course, softer materials are going to cause the shell to become softer, harder materials are going to cause the shell to turn harder. And of course, it's also going to be like they have to balance their diet, some soft metals with some hard metals, just so, because if they're going to keep on consuming a lot of hard metals, they are just going to solidify fully, right? Like they won't be able to move, because like it's all going to be like underneath, I mean like outside, right? So their back of their heads, back of their necks, back of their legs, back of their arms, like it's all going to be like split half on half, kind of, right? So that's the idea for the dwarves. For elves, again, since they are long living creatures, they are evolving, and that's why the forest elves are quickly evolved to be half animal, to have half animal aspects. But it's not like they've bred with animals, it's because they've evolved with those animal parts to actually survive the forest elements. Same with dark elves, right? They moved to the caverns, so some of them have like bat elements, some of them have other like cavern creatures, basically cavern creature features, basically, just so it would work. But again, we are not going to design all of those elves. We are going to focus only on drawing the designs as they are right now, like just those half animal hybrids. But I think it's going to be like, I need to still like figure out what I want to really achieve with it. Also, if I would like, keep things going, yeah, I would need to like, if I want to keep things going, especially with the 3D model, I really need to like check, like analyze everything, how it works, and check how I can upgrade it, and genuinely like put it, like remodel it fully. Because I think I've messed up a lot, especially around like genuine human proportions. So I need to like draw it. I need to make it with a. I need to make it with a skeleton, human skeleton, right? Like, sure, because like, for example, Rinotuna mentioned that the 1.5 head is supposed to, like the cylinder that creates the, the torso, supposed to be made out of 1.5 head. But I think I'm messing something up, and I think it's because I'm making the pelvis way too far apart, which is causing the torso to be like very far away from the pelvis, and it's actually also visible on the 3D model. I think it should be like very very minute, like separation from the between the torso and the pelvis in this 3D model, basically. This way I would genuinely be able to push things through. So yeah. And again, I don't think we are going to draw the classes. We are not designing classes yet. What we are actually doing is just drawing the races, right? So we are just going to draw the races themselves. That's it. So yeah. So I rather to, that's why I rather to draw this myself than, just attempting to draw on the 3D model, which I know is faulty. And I think that the difference between the pelvis and the torso is supposed to be this big. Like genuinely. See? Like very, very small one. But at the same, because like as I'm looking at this, that actually works for some reason. That actually works slightly better than what I've had, you know? And I think we could actually do a couple things. Okay. Seriously, we just started the stream and the freaking bots came in? To be fair, I don't know what I should be doing with the bots, because actually those are like hacked accounts on Twitch. Yeah. Some of them are like genuinely created like, 20-second, on 22nd, like couple days ago, and they're already hacked. And you know what is scary? Like, I feel that actually it's the Twitch who's forcing the accounts to that, because there's no way that so many people would be freaking hacked on Twitch. Why would it happen like this? There has to be someone who has access. So here's what I think, like, fully. There has to be someone in Twitch who is behind all of those Twitch bots. And he or she has access to the account details, and they're just constantly downloading the logins and passwords from Twitch database, and like uses a bot to like make like first entry and send out the message with AI viewers and stuff, This is actually what I think happens, because there is no way that like fresh accounts are constantly out. At this point, every single account on Twitch would have to be genuinely hacked. And I kid you not, because there's literally way too many of those. There's way too many, and accounts are way too fresh and sometimes way too old. Like, we are speaking here about accounts even from like 2024 or 2022, actually, even 2020. Like, I've seen account, the oldest account I've seen was like 2018, I think. The oldest account with that. So imagine account from like 2018 get like, you know, okay, it's compromised, right? It's old account. Maybe someone is not watching Twitch anymore. I'm always like stuttering on that because I'm always mixing it up with Twitter. Like, whenever I want to say Twitch, I'm saying Twitter. I don't know why. So yeah, that's the whole thing, you know. Like, in general aspect, it's just like, but like, okay, this account could be compromised really quickly, but then we have literally accounts that are newer ones, like this one from like 22nd of this month. So literally like from 4 days ago, because it's 2026. So like 4 days ago, account was created and it's already hacked. It's way too bizarre. So either it is like a mix of made accounts just for this, but like explanatory shelter J, that's the bot that said it. It doesn't sound botty enough. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sound botty enough. And actually, the bots supposedly are also those hacked accounts. So basically, if it works, because you can see that some people are actually using like, because there are like view botting things. There are streamers who are using it, and they've been, well, there are streamers. There are people using it, so buying subscriptions and buying buying subscriptions, buying views, right? It's mostly because if they're going to buy those, right? YouTube is going to start prioritizing, YouTube or Twitch are going to start prioritizing them. And that's why they are doing this. Because, for example, if I have, let's say, about 3 views, like 3 current viewers on Twitch, I'm going to be at the very bottom. Because Twitch is hiding my account, and it's showing only the accounts with the highest amount of viewers. That's how it works. That's why you want to actually start streaming after someone big finishes the stream, because then you are like genuinely, you know, getting shown with no like, you are genuinely getting shown on the platform, and people are just coming around and just looking for others, right? That's how it works. Unfortunately, like, content creation is not necessarily pleasant thing if you want to think about it in a business manner. Like, you know, all the, like, those people who are starting their channels because they want to treat it as a day job, right? But like, they are not starting with a hobby, and they are just treating it as a job regardless, right? Even they have like zero like availability. That's another issue that you see, because people like that are also ruining the fun for people. A lot of you know, folks would want to also just stream for fun, right? Because they want to, for example, they always like liked the idea of like sitting down, playing a game, and just hanging out with folks in the chat, right? Having some laughs, joking around, yada yada yada. A lot of streamers are going to tell you exactly that. Like, oh, I started streaming because, or recording, that I wanted to share my passion. And most of the times, yeah, that's true. And sometimes it's just like, you know, kind of like a excuse for people, not so they wouldn't say like, oh, I'm doing this because it was a lot of money. Because who's going to say that, right? It's just PR. Sometimes it's just PR talk. But there are people, especially the newer ones, actually, the newer content creators, that actually, you know, started doing it like that. And you can see how it turned out. Like all this, like, you know, recording with like editing, you know, with all that like wild editing from the get-go, talking, like, you know, they were prepared. And like if you're going to do that hobbystically, you're not going to be prepared. You're just going to get like some like first available mic to you. You're going to play first available game for you. You're just going to like play. You're not going to speak much. Sometimes you're going to look at the chat, and if you see that someone finally wrote, you're going to be like, you're going to try to like talk, you know, but it's not like you're going to like, oh chat, did you clip that? Did you clip this? I'm a starting streamer, did you clip that? Like every single, like any kind of situation that happens, because you can see behavior when someone actually is doing this to become popular on the internet with the streaming, and with the people who actually want to do it hobbystically. Me personally, it's like mix. Like I'm currently unemployed. Um so while looking for a job, I'm just doing this too. Right? And like I've been streaming for a while now too. And I didn't really bothered with that. Like all my streams had mostly the same you know, thumbnail. I was just doing whatever I wanted, right? Like I was just doing this hobbystically. But this year I thought like, oh okay, like this year I just want to kind of grow my channel. I kind of want to do that because why not? I think it's going to be like really cool thing to like start like working around this case. Like maybe it's going to like fire up, like start to like doing typical, you know, the usual you know, channel expanding tricks. But it's not like I have God knows how big pressure. If I find a job, I find a job and I'm going to do the usual job, right? Even if it's like cashier at the freaking store. Like, because it doesn't matter for me. All I want is this creative freedom. And I always wanted this. So like you can't really expect me to like also start streaming a game because it came out. I'm going to play a game that just came out if I was expecting for this game. You know what I mean? Like I'm, for example, now waiting for GTA 6. I'm basically just waiting for GTA 6 because I really like it, the GTA. I didn't necessarily liked GTA 5 and how big it was. And I didn't have at that time like good enough PC for this to run GTA 5. But I've already watched people replaying GTA 5 couple times, like 3 times even, on every single premiere that it had. Like I've seen people playing GTA 5 on the premiere on PS5, sorry, on PS4. I've watched people play the game on PC when it was released, and then I've seen people play GTA 5 on PS5 when it was released. And every single time they were choosing different ending, right? And basically that's that. Like so I've seen all the endings. There was nothing for me to really like. There wasn't any reason for me to play GTA 5. Even when I finally got the PC that would be able to sustain the game. So I didn't really play that. I have it. I've received it for free on Epic. I have the game. I could play it. And to be fair, I was thinking about it because I want to also record some stuff, right? In the end, like I'm mostly YouTube person, and YouTube is actually a video platform. It's not streaming platform like Twitch. So actually, my main thing is that I kind of still want to play it maybe before the GTA 6 is going to come out. I know that GTA 5 can be done really quickly. To be fair, like how long to beat GTA 5? 32 hours. It's just the main story. And to be fair, I think I would play the main story. You know? Just the main story. Because I'm like, I've noticed that when I want to play and I'm starting to like play the game for a really long time because I'm doing all the side stuff and oh, it's 100% the game. I'm losing focus on the game. I'm genuinely losing focus on the game. It's not like the game is bad or that the things that they are doing is like, or the side missions are bad. It's just me, right? So I think like I need a game. You know what game really like sustains me to do side stuff? Like games like Genshin Impact, Zone Zero. Those games for some reason have all those like side stuff made for that is kind of sustaining me. Side missions, okay, cool. I can do some side missions. But if it's not like, you know, all like fast travel unlocks and other like stuff for the side missions, I feel and it's just like, you know, all those like long lanes of story that doesn't really do anything for me. Like, sure, some of them might be interesting, but if they are actually not doing anything for me, for some reason, my brain is like cutting off the game from the interest in my brain. Like, I'm not getting the happy hormones from finishing those quests. I don't know if it's because like I'm treating them like, oh, I have to do that to 100% the game. I don't know. Also, it's the same with anime. I don't like when anime actually has the fillers. I'm skipping the fillers. That is the sole reason why I'm already like halfway through the One Piece. And I'm almost like catching up with it. Because I'm now going to finish Punk Hazard Saga. I'm actually watching some Claymore also because I'm, you know, exchanging how I'm doing stuff between the, you know, I'm exchanging between how I'm doing basically like watching anime, like I'm watching a saga from One Piece, like this chunk of a story, and I every single time whenever I'm ending the whole like saga, or when I'm hitting like a split in episodes during the saga. So like if there's like special episode or anything that is like in between them, I'm taking it as a break. Oh, okay, finish season. I'm moving on to another anime, and then so I'm watching like a season of anime, and I'm coming back to continue the original story of One Piece. So this is how I'm sustaining myself also with One Piece. And I'm genuinely telling you this because I am thinking that this might be the possibility for me to actually finish more games with the side stories too. If I'm going to play the game a little bit and I'm going to interchange between them, right? Like I'm going to juggle like two games between one another, I think it's going to be cool. And like, oh, okay, so I'm going to have like 2-3 games in the roster, and I'm just going to play them, right? Cool. That sounds pretty nice, right? That's pretty good for me. And I kid you not, I was thinking about doing that, but then like, how am I going to do that? Like, I thought of taking games to recorded episodes and just making like, I don't know, like 30-minute long episodes, 40-minute long episodes from the game, and just, you know, like here I'm going to move the game a little bit, here I'm going to do some side missions or like in general some side stuff, and that's it. But also there are games that I can 100% even after finishing the game itself, like for example Lego games. Like we finished Lego Batman, and like literally to 100% the game, I have to replay the game itself. because I have all of the characters right now that would allow me to do everything in the game to 100% it. So gather up all the mini kits, all suit up upgrades, all red bricks, all everything basically, and like get all of the, you know, in general just getting everything, right? And I kid you not, it's actually not a bad idea to replay the games to 100% it. Because like, for example, like for Lego games, like I could split the episodes between like a stage, right? So I'm making a stage, cut the episode, another stage, cut the episode, another stage, cut the episode. But I feel like Lego games are, at least in this form that Lego Batman was right now, which was, you know, like chapter 1, 2, 3 on the Batman side, then 1, 2, 3 on the evil side, and each chapter has like 5 stages. So I was making a stream and I was streaming 5 stages, so like one whole chapter, and it took me 6 streams to finish the game. But it wasn't 100%. I think it would be a waste to not to 100% a Lego game if it's so easy to 100% it. Especially that the later games and later on, like, you know, getting characters is going to be much more difficult. Because, like, you would have to actually run around open world with, like, mini-map and basically, like, finding every single, like, hidden stuff, every single like trapped character, solve puzzles, you know, and just do everything that you can, right? And again, it would be cool to 100% the game like this, but I don't really know. It's just a headache for me, you know? It's just a massive headache for me because do I want to make a channel that is going to 100% the games? Like what is truly 100%? Because if I'm going to be achievement hunter, that means I would have to do more than 100% of the game. Because 100%ing the game means finishing every single thing that game has to offer. But unfortunately, fortunately, some games actually base their achievements off of that, and some games make some more challenges. Like, for example, The Witcher, right? To make The Witcher, kill an enemy with a crossbow shot. Crossbow deals like very small amount of damage. Like you would have to literally bring the enemy to a 1 pixel of HP and then shoot it with a headshot. Do you know how difficult it is? Like people genuinely have a trick to finish it. Like you genuinely have to go to the bandits camp, lag them on the camp's border that they cannot leave, and constantly shoot at them with the crossbow until they die. That's the trick to actually achieve this achievement. So like, what do you mean by 100%ing the game, right? Do I turn myself into achievement hunter, or do I just go after the game having like genuine 100%? I think just going after genuine 100% and not going for the achievements, that would be cool, right? Because that would give me also some fulfillment to the game. But then it's like, is it not going to be boring for you? Like that's the thing, because like again, I want to like focus on like expanding this channel a bit more, right? And we are doing really good, like really good job on that. Like we're rewriting manga finally, and we're doing huge moves on that. We're almost at like genuinely, we're almost at the stage where I can start drawing on stream the genuine chapter of the manga and post it genuinely on the webtoon. Do you know how far we are actually based off of like other attempts to do that. Like, sure, it's rewriting of the story, but I literally have the same informations for other stories of mine that I already made, you know? I genuinely already have like all of those stories in at the same stage as I had High School DxD story already in mind, you know? So it's not like I'm starting from scratch on those either. So when I'm going to start making my stories already, it's just going to be the same case. Like all the stories, all the like, you know, progression, everything is like done the same way, you know? And that's really cool because I know that when I'm going to say, okay, let's take a break from from rewriting of High School DxD, and let's start something else, something original, I can take one of the stories I have and actually start making them, and I'm going to genuinely have like finished story to work off of. And just like progress with it as fast as I was capable to progress with High School DxD. And trust me, with all the informations that we already have, it's literally going to be the same as picking up a you know, it's going to be equivalent of finishing up like my like fulfilling 1/3 of my dream, right? Because I have a dream to make my story on every basis, right? So a book, a comic book, and a video game. At least for now, that's like those three are the main three pillars that I want to create off of my original story. And my original story is quite huge. So I could make like side stories for a comic book, side stories for a book. I could make like, you know, some other games in the universe that are not going to be connected with the main character that I have. Right? I can do a lot. Because I've been writing this story ever since I was like 12 or 14. Depends how you count it, right? For like 12, if you start counting from the like first creations, like OCs that I've had, and some basic backstory that I've made for them. And 14, if you consider, if you want to count from like actual progression of the story, like, oh, okay, I'm not going to focus on making OCs, I'm going to focus on the world building, right? That's where I've done it. I was sitting at the breaks at school. I was, you know, at the school at that point. I was genuinely just spending all this stuff on like writing the thing. And of course I'm always forgetting which ankle is higher. The inner ankle is higher than the outside one. So it's like this. Yes, it matters. Biologically, yes, we don't have ankles on the same level. Our body is not you know, it's not perfect. But yeah, that's the thing, right? So like that's why I have a game planned for it, and that's why I have a book planned for it, and that's why I have comic book planned for it. Because genuinely, I'm just going to be able to like just close off couple and fulfill my dreams, right? I've also found a website that's kind of connected with a book releasing, right? And I want to release a book. But the problem is that actually I should be, I kid you not, right? I should be releasing the book based off of a I should be releasing the book first in Polish. Because I'm Polish, that's my native language, and you should write your first book. Well, you should always write your book in your native language. Why? Because it's actually helping you to later on translate the book with much richer language, right? Because of course I'm capable to like talk now constantly for the past 40 minutes, right, without any break, I guess. And I can still, push it, right? I can keep on pushing it, but I'm not going to have enough like words to find while writing the book. So it's going to be always like the same pattern, like, oh, he went and did this, he felt like this, he said that and did this, right? But meanwhile, when you understand the language, it's much more vocal, right? Like, he felt that yet like this, which caused him to act like this, making this action, which make him feel like this to push those actions, right? Because like it kind of sits in the back of our heads to speak in the language that it's not necessarily your like native language, or if you are not on native level, to always like pursue very simple things, because you don't want to like sound like your brain is pushing you not to sound like off. Also, I've made arms way too long. Damn. But it's not bad. I guess I could write a book in English. It's not a problem. But but I would need much longer to write the book, because I would need to like write it more careful. You know what I mean? Like I would have to like translate the words I want to use more often. I would have to check the like writing rules more often. I would have to check if what I'm trying to share or say makes more sense, right? Because also like sometimes I've actually noticed, because considering like I do find myself like really good in English, and like a lot of people, even like native speakers, mention that I am really I am really communicative in English. But what I'm always not catching myself on, I'm using like sometimes I'm using Polish constructions of words, right? So that's the issue. And that's also one of the reasons why you should always write the books in your native language, because you are going to always come back to the same construction of the language as your native one, regardless if you are God know how good in your native language, in the language you are trying to write the book in. So the trick is write the book in your native language and then translate it. It's going to be much faster process and much easier for you to actually get someone to read your book and actually understand what you are trying to explain, right? So for example, I have on my mind like the book for the detective. I have that has like some paranormal powers, and there's like this I dare to say, this horror-like story, like horror noir detective story, right? So the like main character is a detective who has powers to see ghosts, and he resolves like paranormal cases, right? But those cases are sometimes even connected with like summoning of a devil and possessions and other things. So they at some point they are going to also mix up with like genuine murders, but it turns out that the dude was possessed, and you're like trying to resolve things, help the dude, but also like and like figure stuff out. But like it's always going to be the same topic, like, oh, he in the end, no matter if he was possessed or not, his body still his body, which means his person, also still killed a person, so he still needs to face the consequences of his actions, right? And for example, the person is going to still have to go through the trial, regardless if our main hero was capable to determine if the person was possessed or not, right? So that's the aspect of the like this filthy newer thing, because even though we know as a reader and the character that the person was possessed, we can't really do anything about it and save them from the responsibility of murder, because it's still a murder, right? So that's that. Also, yes, I'm doing this to have a refined base too. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to draw a quick human, but then I'm going to save this base, not the construction, and then we are going to make edits to this base. So like we're going to like stretch the character to make it appear taller. We're going to add like more animal like features because it's going to speed up the process. So don't worry. It's not like I'm talking and later on I'm going to like still repeat the same actions because like I've actually had some talk regarding that with some clients of mine when I'm making the commissions like this. Like, oh, but like you are going to draw the construction every single time? Like, no, it's like for every single thing, because it's like stylization. The key to style and stylization is to know how you want to stylize things. But because of that, the construction is going to change, and because of that, the outcome of the base character is going to also change. So it's good to make your construction, make your character as a base, and then just make all those edits and etc. for your characters and yada, just to, you know, pursue finishing, you know, just to have way faster road to complete your like characters, designs, whatsoever, even armors. Like you're keeping this even if you want to design an armor or even a class or a or a how to say this, or a weapon, right? Because you want to also show how the weapon like holds in the character's hand, right? So you are just going to show how the character would hold the weapon or something like that, so you're still using the same construction. And of course, like artists, concept artists at some point are asking their 3D artists to for the files, and they are also moving to 3D. Yes, because concept artists are supporting themselves with 3D art. 3D is everywhere, but concept art is still, thankfully, very dependent on 2D art, right? Unfortunately, it's the issue though with stuff, you know. Also, it's so funny to me because, like, you know, I am applying for a job, right? And regardless, like AI case and stuff, it's so funny to me that you are walking you're applying for the job. In the description, they don't tell you that it's AI related job. Like they are not telling you that, oh, you are going to like generate logos using AI. They are not writing this in the description. They're writing like typical logo designer description. So as if you are going to draw it yourself, basically, right? So first of all, that's very scammy because they see that people don't want to apply for jobs that actually mention they are going to use AI. Right? Yeah, funny. Who would expect that, right? But now they are also like scamming people and trying to make those AI things. Still like force them to apply for those, not telling them directly about this. And then they are like, "Oh, do you have like any AI generated portfolio?" And like, what? You need portfolio for that. Do you? Like, you, it's not like it's really getting out of hand because they do think that this is something that you need skill for, which you don't. You don't. Like a freaking preschooler would be able to make those. You don't need portfolio for this. For actual artists, yes, you do. Oh, you do. Because for the actual artist, you need to prove your skills, right? You need to prove that you're capable for that. But they have the audacity to like compare it with and ask for the portfolio. I'm mad. I'm mad. I feel like the torso is too short now. See, that's the thing I was talking about. Like, you can't really, like, you really need to have like good, like, split between everything, you know? So yeah, like, we are really going into the direction where they are scamming people to apply for those jobs even they don't want to, because they know people don't want to apply for it, so they are not telling you this, and that's exactly how it goes. I'm genuinely like, you know, flabbergasted. Like, first job I've stumbled upon like that, like, literally left me gobsmacked. I genuinely had no idea what even to respond. Like, they had audacity to ask me about something like that. Like, no, I have like hand-drawn portfolio because you didn't mention that you need those tools. And like, I don't like, do you really think that you need any kind of skills for this? And you know, like, at this point I think like people who are doing this, they don't even know what they are doing at this point, you know? They don't even know what they are doing at this point. But yeah, I keep companies like that, and I have my personal blacklist. And I'm adding companies like this to my blacklist. So whenever I'm looking for a job now, I'm also parsing the name of the company through the list. Because yes, I've made a macro in Excel that is making a pop-up, and if I write in the pop-up the name of the company, it's checking through the list if that company is actually in, and it's telling me if the company is actually on the blacklist or not, and if I can, you know, and if I can write to it or not. And I can tell you, it's working, but also it's kind of scary that there's less and less companies that I can apply to because of that. That's soon enough. Yeah, I'm. Yeah. Anyway, anywho, we're almost done with the mail base, which I really like. Of course, I'm going to keep it like this, and I'm going to keep it as a base, right? So keeping it as a base is going to be very important, because again, we are going to take this base and we are going to translate it into something else. So I have a folder called the base. It's kind of like making pixel art, right? I've noticed that the more I was doing a lot of things, like the more things I was doing, like making pixel art, playing with 3D, right? I'm learning more and more things that are kind of helping me to progress with my pipeline to operate faster and more intelligent to it. Again, I think it's some like saying more working something more intelligently or more intelligent. I think it's something that Polish people say, because yes, we do say that, and it doesn't mean necessarily that you're intelligent. It just means that you're working with it more intelligently, right? Which is just like cleverly. You are using your brain to make your work better. So yeah. This hand needs to be lower. And this is also why I really like this, because like, you know, why I like doing things like this, because I can just, you know, I can just chill and slowly operate on the base. And later on I can just zoom through everything else, right? And even though I'll have to make silhouettes to play around with things, then yeah. Because again, like for elves, it's not like they're going to be like half human, half cat, half wolf, and they are just going to like change between that, right? So it's not like we're going to have elf cat girls, right? We're just going to have like they're going to be mutated, kind of. So they're going to have like feline, like panthera, feline legs. They're going to help them run faster. They are going to have monkey tails to help them climb better. And they are going to have like other things that are going to support them to like live perfectly in the jungle, right? So they're like constantly evolving into a perfect being in certain climate. So for example, assuming if they're going to like be thrown into like really hot climate, they're going to do everything to like be able to like just sustain immense heat, right? So they're going to be like very thin, right? They're not going to have any fat tissue. They're going to probably extrude like a, you know, like a gel tissue around their body that's going to protect them from the heat, and so on and so on and so on. And same with cold environments, right? They're going to produce like a thick fat layer, which is going to isolate their bodies from the cold thing, right? There's just like a lot of things about the elves that I want to do here. So basically, but it like the first elves is just like the base that we know, right? Because everything else is just like very like cut off, and we're going to see some of other like types of elves in the heroes, right? Because as a matter of fact, the in the game also is going to have something called a hero. So for example, we have, you know, human, wizard, warrior, rogue, and monk, right? And they are coming to your thing. But also we are going to have every 5th tour, we are going to pull additional card, the hero card. And for example, it's going to be Jane Dark, who's going to be a monk warrior, right? So she's going to go after like sword and, you know, and holy artifacts. And basically she's going to be a hero with its own name, and she's going to have her own passives, and so on and so on and so on. So like if she's accompanied with other monks, she gets a boost to damage because she was a crusader, right? She was at the Holy Crusade. Jane Dark, right? So that's basically the whole thing. And we're going to have also the elves, right? So other elves. So those other elves are going to be other types of elves. We're going to have some high elves. We're going to have some elves from other directions, right? All of those are going to be heroes. But of course, we're going to have also like, you know, villains that we are playing. And those villains also are going to have like, you know, bosses. And those bosses are going to be very simple. Like, you know, we're going to have Dark Elf boss, right? And we're going to see how Dark Elves are looking like. So that's that, right? Like, in general, when it comes to the races of the game, I think we've got it. So yeah. Also, there's a new style I kind of want to try out, or at least the shading that I want to try out. And I think I'm going to use it for this because, again, because I have to make portfolio, like a new portfolio, like working portfolio for my attempts to score a job, I'm going to do those more realistic, and I need to show show more things, right? So it's going to be more realistic style, more shading style, or basically a style that is very considerate for um concept art, right? Because I'm a concept artist. I want to be a concept artist, right? I've been a concept artist. You can kind of say that I've been a character artist more than a concept artist, but unfortunately, character artists already moved to 3D. So you won't score a job that is character art related, and it's not 3D. And 3D, I have no idea how to make. So I'm sad. And yes, this is actually how you do it. You know, for realism's sake. Which is really cool because you structure the head really well. That's sick. But this is our face borders, like those here, right? Here you have end of the forehead. So you also know that here and here is how the hairline is going to go. That's a really cool trick I've learned when I was still using realism a bit more. I don't know why I'm not using this actually for anime. It would totally work for my anime style. But yeah, like when you are stylizing and changing things, you're not really thinking clearly that something might work from from your realism. Even though I'm still mixing a lot of realism stuff into this, right? I'm still mixing a lot of stuff into this realism stuff. I'm still mixing a lot of realism elements into my anime style, like when it comes to the shading and things, right? Because I'm using my realism knowledge now, or at least trying to, because I know I can use my realism knowledge for realism, but somehow I've blocked my mind from using the realism knowledge from manga style, which makes no sense because for newcomers, manga style is same as realism style. It's just different stylization, right? So if you want to draw a realism, draw it, but it's not that difficult for you to move into anime. Because it's if you look at it, it's you are looking at the human eyes, and it still has to be the same eyes for anime characters, because it's literally what stylization means. It's just change things in what that you are drawing in a way that is easier for you. And that's what an art style is. And anime art style is very specific because it's very close to realism, and kind of same to the Western comics. But actually, Western comics came from kind of this idea of making comic books, right? I think Asians started it, but I don't even think that Japanese started the comic books. I think it was different Asia country that started comic books with stylized humans, right? Or it was just the newspaper strips that started comic books. No idea now. I'm not even getting that deep into the story of comic books, to be fair. That's not the stream about it. Oh my. But yeah. It's also about a lot of cleaning up, you know. I want to keep it kind of sketchy. Again, it's just concept art. Concept art is kind of sketchy. It's not like you have to finish everything. You can keep things unfinished in concept art because it's concept. All other things, other segments of the pipeline, are going to take your drawing and change it to something else. But I like to be I'm a neat. I really need my things done. But what do you think, folks? Actually, because to be fair, I think like I could also take this universe and turn it into something else. Like we already have that kind of like dungeon crawling universe, right? Gold, like gilded shards. But I think I would change the name. It's kind of corny. Gilded shards. It's corny. But I'm really bad at coming up with names. I was usually using the for the like character names. I'm usually using the fantasy name generator, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hell yeah. And I want to test out this new shading method too, because it's going to be way faster. At least I want to check it out. You know, not sure if I'm going to use it for my illustrations though, but at least I'm going to use it, you know, for something so simple like concept art, right? Especially that it's, you know, typical concept arty style basically that a lot of people are using for this case, for the sake. So that's it. I think if I finish the base, that'll be the thing. I know that, you know, I already had humans, and humans supposed to be my base, but humans are base for the races. It's like a base point. Everything, like any other race, should be bipedal, right? Like all those races that are going to be able to like function. We are going to make like wargs or other like canine or any other like animals separately, but this is something else, something like that we have to take care of differently. Like because those would be just as well just, you know, characters that we are going to draw or like characters that we are going to play, right? So I need to keep in mind that there are playable characters that we need to take care of. And yeah, I think the torso is good enough because it's like from here to here. So yeah, I think it's actually good because you should be able to fold your torso 3 times on your legs and it's actually doable. Okay. So the torso length is good. Why should you, by the way, why you should be able to fold yourself 3 times? Because this area, like your torso, is the same length as end of your torso to your knees, and from your knees to the soles of your feet. Those are the same lengths. Should be the same lengths. And actually, even like if you look at this, it's like kind of same length. So that's why you should be able to fold yourself 3 times, right? And yeah, those look pretty good. Alrighty, I like that. I like that. This is my base for the guy, for the males. I'm not going to add like, you know, like toenails, like toes, right? Because like I don't think that's something I want to do. I'm going to make it green because again, like I'm also marking a lot of things. Like I'm giving like I'm giving my layers meaning with color coding. I'm also teaching it to people whenever I have possibility. So like orange is something I'm starting to work on, right? Um, or like next stage. Red is something messed up. For example, if I'm making commission for a client and they point out that there's something wrong on certain drawing, if I'm, for example, drawing several like, you know, sequences, like strips of like a comic or something, and they mention, so I'm usually separating each stage, each panel on different layer, and if the client is going to tell me that, hey, there's something wrong with this image, oh okay, I know which panel it is, and I'm marking it red. And then like, you know, when I know that everything is like, you know, up to date, I'm starting again from the beginning, right? So what's good, it's good. But and first I'm fixing the problems, I'm sending them out fixes to the client again. The client confirms what's good, what's not. And then like if everything's confirmed, then I'm like, you know, going again from bottom to top because it's like from first to last. And I'm making another stage and I'm sending it again to the client. And the client is confirming that. And again, same process. If the client confirms everything, I'm again continuing to work with it. And what's finished and confirmed is green, right? But like it has to be fully finished. So for example, it has to be finishing to the point that it's already colored and shaded, right? If the client wanted this. So that's the case. And I am marking it like, you know, orange and not red when I'm starting to work on the things, because like red is for the mistakes and basically orange is telling me, hey, from all of those layers, this is the layer you decided to work on last time. And I'm actually working on it that I've planned, and I'm capable to like pursue faster finishing. Also, when you are doing commissions like this, you really need to like keep in mind how to work through all of stuff. But yeah, we finished the guy, and we're going to take now the thing again, and we're going to make kind of the same thing for the girl. Actually, let me get the guy. Because we are going to kind of use the same thing, but because like females are not. To be fair, I could just take this and make the edits, but yeah, I want to show you actually how the female process looks like, but I need the same direction kind of. So yep. So basically, like the torsos are going to be more flat, right? Well, more flat. Torsos are going to be like very specific, right? Like this. They're going to be very thin. Going to the same stage for the rib cage, because actually rib cage, well, it still is different because male rib cage has a different cadence than female rib cage, but yeah. And yes, we have to make like all races 2 times because we need to make females too, because like to be fair, females would also evolve differently in nature, and that's what we want to establish, right? Now, the thing is that the like shoulders compared to males, they're going to be like more put inside like this. They're like halfway through. And so they are like, you can see that the edge is going to be in a different place. Arms are way thinner because of that. Well, of course, like it doesn't have to be that the arms are going to be thinner, but it's, you know, we're making like very basic version of it all, right? So we're just, you know, drawing things in this way. Okay, and I have already got the direction, so I don't need much. So I'm going to hide the guy, male, and we're going to continue drawing female. I guess the head could also be slightly smaller. So yeah. Also, I did download Assassin's Creed 1 and Saints Row 3. as I've mentioned, I want to like also record things. So Sensor 3 is going to be recorded because I might need to censor a couple things. Although that's the thing, like I've played already on my channel Sensor 2 and I didn't have any issues. I don't even think I had any problems with the like radios and stuff because I was like muting the radios. Of course, we couldn't hear the full songs, you know, in the radio, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, that's going to be pain. Actually, wait, because I was almost about to do the same issue. Yeah, let's take it lower like this. Sorry, I don't know why I've got something in my throat. I'm losing my voice. I think I've been talking too long. Goddamn. Although I was thinking about playing Pokemon because I want to play like all Pokemons from start to finish because I can. I have this ability. I can genuinely get every single Pokemon game, including games like Sun and Moon and stuff. I can. I So that's the thing. So another difference between male and female is the pelvis. That's the biggest change actually. The pelvis on females is wider. So even if that's like a basic like contrast, yeah, that is still going to be the biggest change, you know. And I know it might be looking very contrasting right now, like that she might be like dummy thick, but she's not. Look at this. It's just small difference here. She's not thick. It's just slightly stretched out pelvis. I think the biggest change is like this. That's actually how far away from the male pelvis the female pelvis I drew right now is. Because like you can also compare it with her rest of her body, right? Because it's going like that. And male, yeah, it was about that, right? Because male pelvises are the same width as their torsos. Female ones are slightly wider. But the trick to draw them is the same. You know? And their joints for thighs are going to be further away because their legs are going to be more spread apart, basically. The thigh gap, so to say. I'm just doing this for the sheer sake of like having the arm sticking out somewhere, but whatever. It's going to stick out here. Your take. like this. Yeah, and this shoulder is going to be like hidden, so that's that. Although to be fair, I was wondering if I want to like keep on playing some other games like Mega Man Battle Network too, like, you know, just starting Mega Man Battle Network. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm scared to kind of play the controversial game right now. I mean, controversial games. God damn it. Like games that are going to swear a lot, because I know what YouTube is going through, and I don't want like to be caught in between of everything. But I also want to be able to play whatever I want. Okay, now her torso is going to be like this. Whatever. Is it big enough? No, slightly bigger, like this. Okay. So yeah, can't wait really to also continue drawing High School DxD rewriting. You know, I'm really hoping that, you know, my intentions are not going to be taken wrong though, because I'm not doing this to prove that, oh, to say that, oh, the author like wrote bad story. I just feel like he wrote a really good story, but he put it in a wrong clothing. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely, it would be much better for him if he would just, you know, just draw the goddamn thing. I mean, just do the goddamn thing as a freaking shonen. That's all he freaking needed. Just make it a shonen. Don't add any ecchi into that. What he does, he adds ecchi into it. Like, dude, you've had such a great story. Like, it's literally an idea you don't really see anywhere else. You know? Okay. Yeah, I just went through it because I needed to have like kind of equal heights. Okay. Same with this. And again, the upper one is the taller one. And then we have the knees. Do you know that bees have knees? That's why they're called bees' knees. Okay. Well, I'll be real. It's, yeah. It is what it is, you know? With everything. Also, the Mecha Chameleon situation is crazy. Like, apparently a lot of people like downloading it, but you know, it's not like the Mecha Chameleon itself is spreading malware. It's just that, you know, people like were hosting maps that were malware, and that's the issue with the game. Like the game itself is safe, I think, but like the main problem is actually with the people posting their, you know, their thing, their maps. Right? And that's actually our shoulder here. And same here. Just like that, we almost are done with the female base, which is cool. Yes, the belly buttons are also different, usually. Okay. Yeah, you know, that's in general the whole concept of it all. And come to think of it, that I'm doing all of that just for a card game. But to be fair, I'm not going to throw out the bases. I'm going to reuse them because I want to also make like other games, and most likely I have to go through the same process because I do want to make other games and also add the process of making them into my portfolio. So it's not like it's only that one game, basically. And yes, I'm sitting very uncomfortably. Thank you. I'm sitting like a shrimp right now. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole case. That's the whole shtick. All right. Next should be also very thinner. And like the difference between female and male bases, I guess I'm going to make the female models hands like, you know, not really clenched into a fist, but like opened. She seems kind of chubby. Okay. Ah, yes, this was way too high. Well, I suppose we can do also this. Yeah, I think I did give her like dummy thick thighs. Yeah, I did make her like thick, kind of like fake thick fur. Okay, whatever. Let's just do it like that and push the belly button here. And now she looks slimmer, just wide, basically. Yeah, that's that's good enough for me, at least. Okay, well, because girls have like, yeah, kind of puffier faces, if that makes sense. And jaw is going to be different too. So you can see that the jaw here is like kind of like curvy, right? And for the guy, it's like, you know, rectangular, like sharp. This is also a thing, you know, to do for the girls. Oh yeah, we've got male and female base. Like, holy crap. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So we've got the male and female bases. I guess it's also like kind of good. There are kind of like couple lines that I don't really like here. Yeah. Yeah. Now it works better. So the bases are going to be turned into really quickly later on into humans. And I guess on the next stream. So because like I was thinking about some stuff, but because like I wanted to, I'm going to next week we're going to focus a lot on game dev. We're going to make a lot of streams where I'm going to design characters, where I'm going to do other things. So in general, you know, just working stuff out, right? And I think that's going to be enough for us. So we are going to make humans, we are going to design the good races, so elves and dwarves. Because like for elves and dwarves, I need like 6 silhouettes each. Get the silhouettes I like, draw on top of those silhouettes. So like, you know, figure out 3 of them, so like halve it, and then like upgrade those silhouettes into like silhouettes with like sketched out details, and you know, and pick the one that I prefer the most, right? And then I can take the one that I prefer the most and draw it with the other thing, right? Like just draw it with the base that we have here, and that'll be it. That'll be our thing. And, you know, with the split female male. Yeah. I do think that this is going to be it. So that's why races are not that hard, especially, but they are hard. It's difficult to really explain it. Whatever. But I'm going to end the stream. Thank you all for coming today and hanging out with me, folks. And as always, stay creative, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.